Hi, I'm Bob Croghan, and I'm the chairperson of the Organization of Staff Analysts. OSA got founded way back around 1970, and when we got together, we had three goals. The first one was we should help each other out. Second one, we could do everything we could to make sure that we were secure in our jobs. And the third thing was we wanted to get the right to collective bargaining because there were good things that would come along with collective bargaining. Well, that fight took 15 years before we had our first big victory in 1985 when we picked up 38 people at the Board of Education. But you see, at that point we became a real union. We had lots of members, but very few were unionized until that moment. Then by 1989, there was over 650 of us unionized, and by 1992 we had gotten to over 3,000. We could have stopped then because we had finished our original goals. We had unionized, brought the benefits of unionization to all the staff and associate analysts who worked in the entire set of city agencies and the housing authority. We didn't. We decided we'd go ahead because we felt an obligation to help any other analysts out that were out there, and there were analysts in the Health and Hospitals Corporation. By 1994, we had done that job. Then we looked at the fact that there were brothers and sisters in the Transit Authority in MaBSTOA. So we went after that group, and that was very hard because the Transit Authority and MaBSTOA resisted us. We had no right to be on the locations. They gave us a hard time. They would throw us out regularly. We kept coming back. Reality is that by 1998 we had enough cards to file, and we filed the cards, and we had the election. In early 1999 we won the Transit Authority analysts by a vote of 2-1. But we actually, for the first time, lost an election. We lost an election in MaBSTOA by a small margin. We never forgot that. We accepted the fact we'd lost the election, but we kind of thought that as time passed, they might change their mind about it. We went off to go after other groups and help other groups out, and we did very well over the years. Now we're up to about 5,000 of us, so we just kept growing. But actually, management in the MaBSTOA didn't treat the people who voted against the union badly at first. For 10 years, they got the same raises, and they got treated pretty well. We were forcing the Transit Authority to take good care of our Transit Authority analysts, but the ones who weren't in the union at MaBSTOA were doing pretty much as well. However, around 2009, this began to change. Either MaBSTOA's management had forgotten that we exist, or they had worn out their sense of gratitude to those who had voted for them. Whichever. At that point, raises began to come late. Or, once they were finally paid, they weren't always retroactive to as far back as they should have been. Then again, some raises came along which had conditions attached to them. You had to have a particularly good evaluation, or you had to complete some training, or else you didn't get the raise. And then in some cases, there just was no raise at all. Our Transit Authority analysts were getting raises, and frequently you weren't. You might expect some of the analysts at MaBSTOA who had voted for us the last time reached out to us and says, come back, help us out. Everyone's changing their mind real fast every time management leaves us behind on a raise. Okay, it's a big job. We went back, we began to get cards again, and in fact about a year and a half ago we were ready to go. We had cards and we were getting ready for the campaign, but then we got distracted. You understand these cards get stale dated after 6 months. You have to get them signed, and you don't have the proper number. By a certain point, you have to get new cards. Well, we had all the cards we needed in every direction, except we then got challenged on an election over in the Health and Hospitals Corporation on a new title called Senior Consultant Management Information Services. And we got challenged by a pretty big bunch. The American Federation of State County Municipal Workers. In New York City, they're called DC 37. And they have like 100,000 people, so they're bigger than us, much bigger. So it was a tough election. We couldn't do both elections. We couldn't do both MaBSTOA and fight off AFSCME at the same time, so we concentrated in the hospitals. And we won. We won by a vote of 3-2, so we're very pleased about that. But then we went back to go after MaBSTOA, but of course we had to get the cards again now. So we began getting the cards, and at that point we ran into the fact that now, for the first time, the Transport Workers Union had shown up. Please be clear, I have nothing against the Transport Workers Union. My father was a member and one of the founders of the Transport Workers Union. I think they're a great union. I think they're fine. I think they've done a lot of good for their members. I don't agree with the idea of them coming after a group of people who who we're already going after. There are millions of Americans. There's tens of thousands in New York City working in the public sector who have never been unionized. And why unions would trip over each other's feet trying to unionize people, I don't think that's a good idea. I think we should be united in fighting management. I don't think we should be fighting with each other at all. All right. If they wish to go forward, they can go forward. We've been involved with this kind of a fight before. Most recently, we had a group called LEBA, Law Enforcement Employees Benevolent Association, challenges for our superior officers of the school safety and traffic enforcement in New York City. The vote in that case was kind of good in our favor. 50 voted for us, and one person voted for the other guy. But we don't want to fight. What we want to do is fight management. We want to fight on your behalf to get you the security and the rights that you should have, and we also want you to get the raises you should have. I want to thank every one of you who signed a card with us. If you haven't yet, I would hope you would sign a card with us. I'll tell you who we are, because this is the introductory video. We're actually you. We're a bunch of analysts who had enough sense to realize we're better off with a union than without a union. And if you do vote for us in the time to come, we absolutely 100% think that you're going to be very satisfied with the fact that you've got a union that cares about you, always has cared about you, and will fight for you. We think you'll be very satisfied with us. Thanks.